Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the ESL Major League here as we're going to get into series number 2. And we can actually get in pretty quick to the picks and bans because they've already started between Who is Kazui and Team Acer. Two teams who are sat very close to the bottom of the league here, so they really, really need a win.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, like both of them have. Well, we have actually Stitches currently banned first for Who is Kazui, so we're already like starting again with that kind of meta change where you try to at least get one of the melee assassins into the play, and that could now result in Team Acer just like saying, "All right, we're going to ban something else, and we're going to have the battle for Illidan and Zeratul. Let's see who ends up with which hero."
Yeah, there definitely could come that have come out. Team Acer at the moment are at the very bottom. They are 8th at the moment, and unfortunately they have lost every single one of their series, so they've not had the best time. And to be fair, it's not like they're a bad team in any regard. They're actually a very, very good team, but the quality here in the Major League is looked on point so far.
They haven't won a single map, and Acer, I would go so as far as to say they were a really good team. But ever since they had their lineup problem, they have not fixed that problem yet.
Okay.
So they have now somebody like that. First of all, they lost Lotus. For Lotus, they played with a pony that kind of worked for a while, and now they started to like look for other players. They played with Destin for a bit. They tried out Tony, who is currently also their fixed player, as far as I know. But they haven't really found their stride yet again. And that is a big problem because, well, they didn't win a map in the Major League yet. And they, so far, I can't even remember when they won the last game. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I
Even
actually
outside
cannot.
of this.
I cannot remember when they won the last game. And that's a problem. And of course, that's also a psychological aspect that you have there that they have to deal with.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And Who is Kazui? You know, I actually speak to these guys quite a bit, and they did have a few teething problems themselves, especially going into last week. But then actually they picked themselves on Tuesday up a win against SK, which was a step in the right direction for them at least.
Did you see the games?
Not fully. I haven't watched all the replays yet. I was busy.
Okay, I'm not gonna spoil you then.
Okay.
That those games were, I just uploaded them today also on YouTube, and they were crazy. They were crazy. Either way, let's go through the draft. I would say. Besides that, we have like Illidan picked first by Kazui, and that's a pick that they really like. They played this in SK versus SK in every single game. So I'm personally surprised that Acer didn't pick Illidan out. If they've seen those games, they probably would have. Kazui is always trying to go for a comp that evolves around Illidan together with ETC. They really, really like that. And for Acer, we're having a first pick now on Uther, then since they banned out one of the healers. That's a pretty smart choice that they have there. Damage dealer would be nice. Or they could just like say, listen up, we're going to pick now Tacita as well, so that Kazui doesn't have access to that hero either.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we could even see Who is Kazui later on going for Malfurion. Of course, again, there is ETC for Team Acer. Very, very strong pick. Of course, Brightwing's very good on the other side for another healer here, so we may see that come along as well. But Who is Kazui getting themselves that Illidan, as you mentioned. It's a good one. Where do you think they go from here, going up against what Team Acer has?
Tacita. Tacita is going to be one of the picks that they will aim for. They really love to play this also with Nazeebo. They've played comps with Nazeebo a lot, so that was one of their main damage dealers. They were in a lot of battles that we saw between them and SK, not afraid to give SK both of the range DPS heroes, Vala and Sergeant Hammer. So in this case, I would expect a Tacita for sure to keep the Illidan alive. The bans on Rhaegar and the pick on Uther, that makes it interesting because they didn't really have to deal with this situation going up against SK. They will not be too happy about Acer picking ETC in this case, since they are trying to rely a lot on this jumper comp. And since they want to play jumper comp still, their pick is for tank is going to be Chen. Yeah, that's a pick that they really, really like. And in this case, they are going for Vala, and I'm still expecting Tacita, but maybe they changed the lineup a bit on the idea of how to go into this, mainly also because of the healer change there.
That makes sense. I mean, after you mentioned Tacita, my next go-to for these two picks was Vala, and that comes out to start things off. It's just a great damage dealer. I mean, they've got all the damage that they really need to have in Illidan and Vala there. Obviously, Tacita, if that does come out, also has quite a lot of damage with Archon coming in, etc., and Twilight Archon going over in level 20 talent as well, once it gets to that stage.
I kind of feel it's interesting that they wait this long with the pick. I really thought they would jump on the idea of having Tacita, since this is one of the heroes that they liked a lot, especially against SK. There it comes, but I wonder what they wanted to pick instead. What their real big issue was. What, did they really want to like try and go for Sergeant Hammer, or what was the idea here?
I mean, even if they were thinking about taking Chen in those two picks, ETC's already taken on the other side, and it's not much room here for Team Acer to go Chen ETC.
Well, we have Acer maybe going, like Acer could theoretically go for double healer. Then you of course run into the problem that you are stuck with whatever's left. In this case, on the map itself, it's also an interesting question what exactly Kazui is going to take. And they go for the Chen.
Oh,
I've seen I've seen that once. From how you think about it, it doesn't really offer a lot of synergy, but you take it away from your opponent, it makes you tanky, and now they need TPS. And for them, that means probably Hammer next. And they would love to get Nazebo, but they won't. And Kazui, I personally would expect them to go for Muradin, since he is one of those here. Like, I don't think it's going to be Arthur's. You want to have something that can jump in together with the Illidan, and Chen is of course much better at that as Muradin, but Muradin still can do that. I do not think that they can keep Tyrael alive. If not for that, if Tyrael wouldn't like follow the meta so much these days, I think Tyrael might have been an option. But yeah.
It would be funny if he was Kazooie just went saying if they go for Muradin, they're like, well, we'll do exactly what Wellmet did. We'll just go Tyrande and then we'll be totally fine. But as you said, the Chen pick coming out there from Team Acer, taking it away from who is Kazooie. It's cool. I wasn't expecting it at all. Hence why I said before that it's like, ETC and Chen, don't see that too often. But
to be honest, I didn't see it too often yet either.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I didn't really think they would do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a really tanky lineup now. They take Sergeant Hammer and Kazui. I guess it's going to go Nazebo. That is in my... I personally, Nazebo is, for me personally, it's a pick that they definitely go for. There's no question about it. The tank, I think Muradin, but, well, could be something else.
I mean, do this not still run into the problem of needing a healer as well? Like, this is...
I'm an idiot.
It's tough, right?
I'm.
They need a healer. They've got to take something. I've seen them run with Malfurion a lot actually. Nebsy actually plays Malfurion quite a bit, but there have been moments where he has been caught out. Malfurion has got to be very, very careful, and also Malfurion can actually be pushed out pretty far by the idea of something like a Wandering Keg coming along, because he doesn't really have too much mobility himself.
I think they're going to drop the idea of going into Nazebo and have instead just like Vala. I kind of misread that for a second there, because I was still thinking about the SK match that they played, and that there's Muradin together with a healer instead of like, So yeah, disregard that Nazebo that I was talking about. I somehow thought that they already had it.
It's all right, man. You've been casting like day after day after day. I understand. You've got a lot of games to cast, man.
No, but like they basically they did the same thing still with the Muradin at the front. What they did is switch out the Nazebo with Vala.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they had to alter the healer. Usually they're trying to run it with Rhaegar, but since Rhaegar was banned out and Uther taken, they go for Malfurion, because in Cursed Hollow he just makes sense.
Yep. So finally, Team Acer, what are they going to pick up? What do you think really makes a lot of sense here? Zeratul still technically available. Or do you think they're going to a Nazebo themselves?
I think they should go Nazebo.
Yeah.
I feel that they are missing out on damage a bit. Let me see.
One of those two is definitely, for me, is definitely the go-to. If you have both the melee assassins on the field, then, I mean, Zeratul can do a lot of work, of course, but you've always got to balance that around the idea that Nazebo's ult is Ravenous Spirit is going to do massive work if it goes off.
Yeah, but Tranquility is going to try and heal that out, and they have a double healing ward against that, and with healing ward plus Tranquility, you can nearly heal that ult out. So that might be a reason to not go Nazebo.
Or use it in really weird situations. There you go.
But they go Nazebo. I mean, Nazebo would be the standard pick in this case, obviously, since, I mean, well, we talked about that. I don't think that Zeratul gives you enough damage for this. You could argue that it gives you a decent setup for a mosh pit, and maybe with Uther then, well, Nazebo, Void Prism ult, Uther goes in with a stun, and then you go mosh pit or something like that. But right now you still have a lot of synergy between Mosh Pit and Zebo ult, but you need to be careful because if there are 2 healing wards available, Shield and Tranquility, we should see a lot of, like, we shouldn't really see Nazebo do too much damage that actually, like, kills something.
Yeah, there is a lot of healing there, that's for sure.
Oh.
Well, again, you know, we could see it in more situations where it's. But the thing is that you can't really use it in situations where it's like a weird time to use it. You still need to save it for team fights, so the threat is there, so that you're forcing out some of that sustain from your opposing team. You want to get rid of that tranquility. Of course, it's going to come down at some point. Maybe they're just going to look to blow up the Malfurion in that case when they drop that ultimate heroic ability even, and then try and bring him down, eliminating a lot of that healing. So that could be something that goes on here. I've seen, again, when Kazooie have been playing, their Malfurion has been focused down on because it's the easier target of a few. It's not hard. It's not easy for Malfurion to get out of tricky situations.
Yeah, but he has the Tacita there to help him out, so that's going to help for sure. And what we oftentimes see is also for that very reason that you just mentioned, go for the Ice Block, because you can activate Ultimate and then use Ice Block.
Yeah. Does that actually work? Because for the longest time at the very beginning of the game, I was doing it and I was like, is this still healing? I can't even tell. So it does work.
Yeah, it works.
Okay, cool. That's very nice.
It's pretty awesome, actually, as long as the fight stays at that point where you are. If not, then you have a problem. Then you're like sitting there and you're like, boys, come back. But yeah, it still heals.
I really want to heal you guys. Just stick around. Just stick around. I guess if you're on Sky Temple or something like that, it'd be totally fine for a little while. But I guess it could work on Cursed Hollow as well. We've seen Ice Block being taken quite a bit actually by our Malfurions to just keep them nicely defended in these situations. And now we're just waiting for everyone to get into the game and we can get going.
Yeah, and I think we're all there already. But yeah, in those fights, I mean, it's really, I feel Nazebo ult against. As far as I know, like I don't have the numbers down cold to be absolutely honest with you, but as far as I know, 1 healing ward plus Malfurion ult negates Nazebo ult.
Okay.
So Nazebo could rack up the craziest numbers as long as the Malfurion is there with the healing ward, and they have 2 of those. You should be able to just like stay in the fight even with the ultimate being there. The ideal, of course, is to jump in, cancel it out, and still have your ult on.
This makes a lot of sense now. Their new substitute is Vainless, and Vainless was playing for Team Dignitas. So we're going to see how he's going to do on Acer here in this roster change. I completely forgot that he'd actually stepped in from Dignitas. I wonder how he's going to play.
So we don't see Tony. Tony apparently replaced.
Tony is gone. Sorry, Tony. Sorry, buddy.
And Cursed Hollow going to be the map, and we're going to start with the match now.
All right, so getting loaded up. This is going to be game at number 1 between these 2 teams. Again, very, very important. They are both sitting quite low in the Major League at the moment, with Who's Kazooie being 6th and Team Acer being 8th. Will our new substitute on Team Acer, Vainless, being able to kind of propel them forwards here on his Uther, or will Kazooie push themselves on forward as well? They're only 1 spot at the moment behind El Nexo, considering El Nexo just fell down to 5th. So still a lot of competition here in the Major League as we get loaded up.
Game number 1 on Cursed Hollow starts now between Acer and Team Kazooie. And we are, of course, here at the ESL Major League with Kalaris and Kaldor. Looking to the left, we're having BKB for Kazooie in this first game of the best of 3 series on Muradin. Blow Your Brain, Kifui on Vala, Anti-Hero on Illidan, Neps on Malfurion, and Invidium on Tacita. To the right side of the map, it is Team Acer with Green out on Chen, Exxon on ETC, Vainless, a former Team Dignitas player who joined the team just recently, is playing Uther. We're having Holo on Sergeant Hammer and Sypho on Nazebo. This is game number 1 of the best of 3 series. Let's find out who's going to take the lead here. Especially Team Acer under a lot of pressure, since so far in the Major League they haven't won a single map.
Yeah, we're going to have to see Mr. Vainless do a lot of work for them, try and get them a victory or something like that, because if they don't, it's lights out. If you lose 4 in a row here in the Major League, it's very difficult to get back up to that playoff spot going into the final few weeks.
The season has been pretty exciting already, and especially some of the top teams that going into the season were the favorites are now struggling. We just saw El Nexo being defeated by Well Met without even taking a map, so now El Nexo is 1-3 in the league, which is insane. They were one of the best teams, or the best team in Europe, and everybody thought it was only about beating the Spaniards here, but apparently not. Bottom lane in this game is now where we're having our tri-lanes for the two of them. Holo and Sergeant Hammer and Saifo should have a lot of pushing power here. But in this case, we're seeing Illidan being played by Kazui, again, a hero that they absolutely love and adore.
And you were mentioning before, you know, that El Nexo was some of the Spaniards to beat, but it's the other Spaniards, apparently, that are team to beat. New team LDLC now rocketing ahead, and they are 4 matches and 0 up at the top, not losing a map themselves in the current system, so different Spaniards to beat.
Yeah, really interesting also the team composition that we have for the two teams, not only because of the comms themselves, but more so because of the draft that we saw there. Kazui in the recent past, especially against SK Gaming in the Major League, was able to really utilize Illidan together with ETC and a hero like Rhaegar quite handily against opponents and taking those wins. And Acer drafted very, very well now because they banned out Rhaegar, picked up Uther themselves, and that put them already in a pretty decent spot. They did not try to take Tafsida away from the Illidan composition, but instead made sure that ETC was not a part of it, and also took Chen, which was kind of the fallback hero for Kazui. So Kazui, if they couldn't pick up Chen, always went into... Sorry, if they couldn't pick up ETC, always went into Chen. They don't have those options because Acer specifically picked those heroes away from the opponent, and right now Kazui is playing it with the Malfurion as a healer and Muradin as the frontliner, something which they probably didn't anticipate going into this match.
And it was a good rotation here as well from who is Kazui, who are actually doing quite a bit of damage there to Hollow, has to fall on back. But they had to rotate. Illidan was alone in mid, so he wanted to really go over and do that easy camp on left-hand side. Therefore, Tassadar going over to mid to soak up some of that experience, keeping them level pegging in experience at the moment.
Yeah, the double healing, what we're seeing now, is going to be very important on Tacit and Malfurion later. If Nazeebo gets his ult in, Malfurion with his own Tranquility, and then the 2 healing wards can counteract that. Exxon is trying to get the tribute. There comes the Storm, just like trying to channel that out for as long as possible, but it didn't interrupt all of them, so tribute ends up in the hands of Acer. But a nice experience lead, or a slight one already, for Kazui, who are taking another camp with Illidan. The anti-hero is doing his thing, and that was one of the things that he actually did against SK. Sometimes we didn't see him on the map for like 5 to 6 minutes because he was just doing one camp after another.
Yeah, that's Illidan's certainly a powerhouse when it comes to that nowadays with the build. There isn't much more room to iterate the build other than what Illidan normally goes for, with First Aid being picked up there for level 7.
And besides the first aid, one of the things that we see is also enduring growth on Malfurion, which will help you a lot. The one reason why you would not pick that is that you go for Mule instead on maps like, let's say, Haunted Mines or Sky Temple at times. So that's something that you can do. Having also the Stormbolt build for Muradin, where the whole idea is, of course, to just like rack up additional damage on your Q so that you can do extra damage against structures and mercenaries. That's why the Piercing Bolt on level 7 is especially good, and for all of that to happen, you of course need Perfect Storm on level 1.
Look at top lane, they just don't even care about each other. It's just sitting around, I'll soak up some of this ammo and just tank it with any little chugging that I can do up the top. And well, they're on opposite sides of the map at the moment, as the Tribute's going to pop in the middle down at the bottom, and Hollow's very low, so he's going to have to have a little bit more healing going on before they can even rival that Trib.
Yeah, BKB is taking one of the towers down already. Green out to the left is not there just yet, but he is going to try and take BKB down. Not going to get that kill. Well, maybe with Acer Exxon together, not quite.
Yeah, it was ambitious, but and in the end, BKB stuck around just long enough to do some good damage there.
That also means that there's a hero missing at the bottom lane now for the tribute fight, so it's going to be a 3 versus 4 here, but so far everything was just delayed long enough. So job well done.
Valor stuck around at the bottom and was soaking experience, and actually look at the little bit of extra chunk that they've got in experience there of Kazui, so they're doing okay for themselves. They're going to be able to hit 10 a little bit quicker here, but I don't think they'll be able to get anything done with it because there won't be a trib up right at that point.
Yeah. We also have, by the way, Clairvoyance taken now on Nazeebo on level 7. Oftentimes when it comes to the damage, you will see Gitbin taken here, but if you want to reveal an area, that's actually pretty neat. Of course, a hero that does do that even better than the Clairvoyance heroes is Rhaegar, but he was banned out in the game. because Rhaegar's talent has only a 30-second cooldown compared to the 45 that you have on this particular hero now. Both of the teams now with access to the level 20s. We're having Avatar, Reign of Vengeance, Metamorphosis, Tranquility, and Archon on the side of Kazooie, and on the side of Acer, it is the Wandering Kek with Mosh Pit, Divine Storm, Napalm, and the Ravenous Spirit. Infidum in trouble and goes down.
Yeah.
Well done. Nice kill.
At the cost of a Divine Storm, but they got the Archon out of it and the kill, so I mean, why on earth not? And now they can rival this 5-on-4.
Yeah, they're gonna get tribute because of it.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be nice. Boss already been approached at the bot lane, but yeah, Illidan is needed.
Yes. He has to come in here and do a little bit more.
Yeah, and Illidan was not prepared for that stun.
No, he was not.
But I think he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, he'll be alright. He'll be alright. He has a lot of sustain. So it'll be boss for boss, and then a little trip going over to the side here of Acer, who, well, that's already gone down, so all is good for them.
2 tributes at this point for Acer, and well, Acer is doing actually very well so far. For ETC, just in case that you are not really familiar with the build just yet, on level 1 we have of course Block Taken, on level 4 the standard talent these days is Echo Paddle, whereas we have the Guitar Hero on level 7 then. So a pretty normal build for him. A lot will evolve later on around his Relentless as well, or sorry, about the Imposing Presence on level 16 then, that's just going to be an important talent for him. 1 fort at the bot already taken. Nice rotation into the mid. I really like that a lot what we're seeing from Kazui. They're taking or trying to take 2 forts, rotating with 4 heroes in the middle, taking 1 fort. Bot at the bot lane, or the boss at the bot lane is taking another one. So that put them into an experience lead. A very nice move by them.
Yeah, I definitely like that, especially if they actually save their keep towers here, because what does a boss really get done other than actually getting those forts? Normally a first boss, not much more than just those forts. So taking 2 for 1 is nice. Prioritizing themselves in the right locations when they knew that, unfortunately, the boss has to walk quite a foot while down that lane to get even towards the keep wall.
Very interesting talent choices now for Kazui. Don't really make too much sense, in my opinion, to go for a Giant Killer on 2 heroes here, especially on Vala. I'm not quite sure why that talent is taken. The problem that you have with Giant Killer is that if your opponent uses Imposing Presence, or like Giant Killer relies on you attacking with the right click and you also trying to attack the target with the most hit points. Since the targets that are the most important to you on the side of Acer will have their Imposing Presence later, that is kind of negated immediately. So that Vala didn't take Frost Shot, he surprises me a lot.
MC taking a little bit of damage there at the front, as Green now is just going to position himself well to try and push this away. And there goes the Wandering Keg, actually pushes them way out of position, and they're going to take a lot of damage here. Actually, Nebsy and BKB surviving during all of this somehow.
Yeah, Nebsa was using his Ice Block, but I think he screwed it up a bit. He didn't use his ult before that. That would have helped him a lot more. Now 2 of the heroes are down for Kazui, and we're having Acer starting to chase them down one by one. Zebo just barely survived, 2 down, and Blow Your Brain survives actually, and suddenly just like that, it's not only a 2 for 2, Holo goes down as well, Anti-Hero going full man mode on his Illidan, and just dropping everybody in his path.
And that's what an Illidan does if you let him loose, and unfortunately for those guys, they didn't really deal with him. That was tough stuff. So they actually fall back to this trip that wasn't taken that whole time. I completely forgot about it during all the chaos, so they could actually tie things up in tributes.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by what we've seen with the... wait a second, Zebo didn't... I could have sworn that he picked in that I saw in the last... Oh no, sorry, Malfurion had the Ice Block. I think he screwed it up a bit. He used the Ice Block when he was under pressure, but usually you really want to use your ult before you use Ice Block. He didn't do that. That was one of the main reasons why he died. He could have helped his team a lot in this situation, but then afterwards he activated it. So I think there was just like a bit of a problem with him panicking since he was under so much pressure. It worked out in their favor regardless, but still, that was one of the things that definitely happened there too.
Well, they're going to push on mid all together here as a 5. Valor at the bottom here, pretty far away. They really need to be able to sort something out because they're going to lose this wall. Hardcamp's pushing forwards as well. And Valor, well, at least they're going to try and contest this tribute. So
it's a cursed tribute.
Yeah. An important one.
You kind of need to get that. It's the problem. Oh, BKB is just barely jumping out there. Problem is if they get 16 by just clearing 1 or 2 waves, that would be amazing. There's a wave pushing in at the keep, but still, or at the 4, but I don't think they have the time to really rotate one of the heroes up, and now they're cursed. Nice move by Team Acer.
If they could get a kill here, they would hit 16 and it would make the whole fight a lot easier, but will they be able to? There goes onto Zon, doing quite a bit of damage, and the Giant Killer actually helping out quite a bit because there's no imposing presence here just yet, but Zon still somehow manages to get out. Anti-hero on top of him will get him on the retreat out.
Exxon taken out, and Green out is now dying as well. Nazivo was trying to use his ult, but he was stunned out immediately. And now the 16 talent is there with a double blood for blood. Not really sure if it was necessary for them to fight there. They started to initiate and jump in, and I think that was a mistake because they had the curse already. They could have moved back and just wait a bit longer, and they didn't do that. They were trying to go for the fight, and instead they could have just rotated through the map and taken down a few of the structures here. So now the curse won't do anything for them, except for depushing a few of the lanes. I don't know. I'm not quite sure if that was really the best choice here for them.
And they're looking to set a trap on boss potentially, or even just take it themselves. But a trap would be nice, considering now that it's 5v5. And actually, you're just going to disperse it to other locations and get a bit more experience in these lanes, as Malfurion, Muradin even, sorry, will be able to clear up bottom.
They're going for the boss now, trying to take that. That would also put them very close to level 16 when they get that, and when they also hit that lane that is currently making its way over at the top. We're having at the bot lane still 2 Siege Giants fighting for them. 3 kills against 5, so in kills is not too bad, and I have to say that Acer did pretty well with those tributes, but that last fight, that really didn't help them. Now they have the boss taken, that's going to be good. At the bot lane, we're having also one of the bosses taken now by Kazui. So far, I like the moves on the map, like the way that the map is used, the rotations and the approaches, much better from Kazui. Earlier, taking 2 of the forts with just a single boss, doing that now with a curse. That curse didn't do anything, they still have 2 tributes. I like the way they play the map.
Yeah, it's this boss could do something down at the bottom left. It's top left even, sorry. As Blow Your Brain is actually going to go be able to stop that as well as Nebzy. Well, the whole team's coming along for the ride, so probably can't get a whole lot done. Likewise, the other one, just forcing their attention, really. But at least we see that Kazooie are in a position to take that easy camp as soon as they deal with this.
Also an interesting talent choice on Uther now, considering that we have double Giant Killer taken. He is going for Hardened Focus instead of using his Imposing Presence. Matter of preference there, I guess, but still the tank, one of the tanks at least, the main guy that you really would like to drop because of the hit points where Giant Killer comes into play, has his Imposing Presence, so he's of course going to be a problem. Green out, dropping out of the game. They had the same problem just recently in a match that they played against Fnatic, and I really hope that he is going to be able to reconnect this time a bit faster. They lost the match in against Fnatic, not only because of that, but it was part of it, so
yeah,
that's always annoying. But they're also 2 levels behind already, which is another factor.
Yeah, that's really not going to help them out too much at all. This hard camp is going to be given up. They're currently defending top, but they can't really do much more in this 4v5 situation because AI is just not going to cut it against a pro-level team like this.
Yeah, there comes of course also the hard camp taken, and that could be the curse against them. That should be the curse against them. I mean, I guess if it's not for the bot, they would probably try to fight, just because they have the same talents. So if you fight, then probably now, instead of eating the curse. But they have to, because there's still a boss in there, and we still don't have a pause function in custom games. That's something that Blizzard hasn't implemented yet. I love that they don't have it in quick matches in Hero League, because, well, there's too much abuse potential. Yeah. But in custom games, we could really use that, and right now, as you can see, we're having, with the curse, Kazooie pushing in. They're already on level 19, and they have a really good shot at killing one of the keeps.
Yeah, sadly here for Acer, as you can see, they're pinging Chen over and over because they just want him to follow their characters. That's the only way they're going to be able to keep him from running in and suiciding, basically suiciding, and causing them a lot of problems. So this is tough for Acer. I mean, obviously we can address it because that's just how things are right now. It's still in beta. That's totally fine because, you know, we opt to run these tournaments, and Nebzy right now, there you go. He answered it.
He coming back, and a second later, he is back to business. All right. So the teams are starting to push in, and this is actually the cue for Kazooie to start attacking the keep. They were not doing that before, and which is actually very well mannered. Like, nice fair play here by them. Which is interesting, since especially the team that is playing for well, Kazooie, or the ex-PKD team, had a lot of trouble with Acer. Like, they had a bit of a battle going on between them.
Well, Manas, a few manas, as Green now is actually going to jump in, pushes Nebsy away. Again, he's one of the squishier targets here. He used his ice block, trying to keep himself alive during all of this. There's the Ravaging Spirit, but BKB jumps in.
Yeah, and here comes also the Mosh Pit. Mosh Pit already being used. Malfurion is down. That heal is gone. BKB is also getting very low. Level 20 hits, but we see BKB die mid-jump. Just leaps in, and suddenly it is Kazui on the run. They have their talents, and they use the Bolt of the Storm immediately on Vala. And now we might also see it being taken on... no, Illidan already went for the Demonic Form. They're trying to turn it around. And, well, down here, yes, it's Chen that dies first, diving a bit too hard, and they got split, chasing different heroes, and you should not do that.
Yeah, that was tough, unfortunately. I mean, technically, I don't think Kazooie really needed to press the issue at the front. It was just, obviously, Zon realized he had to go in there and try and do something with his Wandering Keg before the level 20 talents kicked in. They were so close to that level 20, so it was good by Zon to jump in there and try and force something. But 2 for 1 in the end. That's okay.
Yeah, so that was actually like a really nice trade still for... I mean, it was a 2 for 1, but I still wasn't too bad for Acer, because they did not lose one of the keeps, which is the most important part. Second of all, thanks to the Underdog bonus, that wasn't the worst trade. And they get closer to level 20, and once they have 20, they're going to be fine with this. So getting those kills, let's see how exactly that's going to work out for them. We have them now with 5 kills against 6. Still pretty close. If they get the 20 talent, we could see a very interesting late game.
Now they can even challenge top boss here, as both bosses are coming up at very, very close times, so they're going to have to keep that in mind, definitely, but setting a trap whilst they've got their 20 talents compared to only level 18, I think that's a good choice here from Kazooie.
Yeah, Kazooie can force that. They will try. If Uther up at the top still, Baneless is now starting to move in. They know where they are positioned. So that's not really a secret. And we have also a couple of mines already put in place in the back though. So it looks like Kazooie is actually giving up the boss and says like, yeah, we're just going to take the one at the bot lane. And he's most likely going to take down the keeper regardless, just because it's already so low in HP.
Yeah, so as we were saying and theorizing, they could have tried to force something a bit more there, but you mentioned it rightly. You know, Hammer was well set up in a good position, and also Hammer took graduating range during all of this, which we briefed over before. But that once you get a fortified position there, it does make it a little bit harder to actually break into there for Kazooie.
This is definitely the safer play for them,
yeah.
And you can throw a match by positioning yourself wrong. And in an 18 versus 20 fight, you have, of course, a massive advantage thanks to the talents, and that extra talent is worth a lot. But at the same time, if you just make one bad move, if one of your team doesn't focus correctly, then you have an issue there. So in this case, we're going to see now Boss pushing top lane and bottom lane.
Yeah, and this is a pretty strong push here from them. They still have level 20 talents over their opponents. Only half a level in it here. So if the boss could do some damage up to the towers at the top, maybe that would help them out. But if Kazooie engages...
Well, Kazooie is now starting to drop not only the key, but they're going straight for an attempt to maybe take the game. Anti-hero jumping in with the demonic form. Avatar is being used as well. Greeno just barrels away in the last second on his keg. And Exxon is very low and is dropped. And, well, this is probably going to be the conclusion of the game here. So, way too much damage. And this match is going to end in favor of Kazooie. Hammer dropped the core down. And GG in game number 1 here on Cursed Hollow, as Kazooie takes the first map in the best of 3 series against Team Acer.
Perfect timing for them to go in there to just finish that off. You've got your level 20 talents over level 19. Yeah, there's a boss pushing your other side, but if you've got a boss as well as Easy Camp supporting you when the keep's half health anyway, perfect little opportunity there for them to round out that game.
Yeah, and well, for Acer, of course, that puts them again back 1 map, and that is the 7th map in the row that they've lost in the Major League.
And also, just a little bit of an update here from our admins. We've decided that both teams lose their hero ban in Game 2 because of their lateness, unfortunately, when going into Game number 1. So that will be taking effect going into this next game, which is very interesting. How does that work on your tool, may I ask? Can we do that? Or?
It doesn't.
Okay, so I guess they just ban Murky and someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Murky, Gaslow bans incoming.
Yeah. That's an interesting ruling that we have there. Well, I mean, that is part of the rules, of course, going into the tournament, that if they are late, they do lose bans. And unfortunately, going into that first one, the rule couldn't have been implemented going into the first game. So that is going to take effect here. Yeah. So we'll see some interesting bans in a second. And then... But it's weird how that works out, because both teams were late, and both teams lose their bans. So it's open season for anybody, I guess. That really starts to favor first pick. Really starts to favor first pick. Oh.
Envy is an idiot.
You know what? I was watching a lot of their scrims, and they were playing Gazlo on Sky Temple. They were really enjoying it.
They banned Sky Temple though, so you have to ban something. And I mean, Gazlo is the one hero that I have at least not seen. I mean, they can also agree on another hero. I don't care. But like the first thing that happens, I say like, okay, so we're gonna see Murky Gazlo banned, and he is like, Gazlo viable. Well, then play him. I dare you. Go for the Gazlo.
One day I think he might, man. I really think he might.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it. Gazlo, like, seeing him is super fun. And I mean, if you go for that wombo combo potential, you have a Zeratul jumping in with the bubble, hitting 4 heroes, and then suddenly you have the Gazlo skills coming in. I've lost games where we've won for like 15 minutes, and then one good wombo combo, and your entire team is suddenly gone within like 2 seconds. Everything is dead, and you lose the game because of that. So, happens, but yeah.
Well. Thankfully, I've never actually been in that situation just yet. I haven't played as many games as you, admittedly.
Are you serious? That never happened to you?
It's not happened yet. I've been very lucky.
I envy you.
I've been very lucky.
Like, you play well the entire time, you dodge it completely, and then, like, in the last seconds, your opponent has already lost keep, you want to go for core, and you just, like, think, okay, now we've got it, and suddenly you miss the Zeratul, 4 heroes get bubbled, Gazlo just runs in, has a great time there, throws everything on top of you, and the rest of them jump into you, you get stunned for, like, God knows how many seconds, entire team dies, death timers are so high that they just turn around, run to your core, and you just lost.
Like, damn it, Gazlo.
It can be very, very frustrating. Yeah. If you're on the other side of the team, though, it's super fun.
Oh yeah, of course. Best time ever. Best game of all time. I've had some 1% core battles. Those have been always very interesting, and it feels really good to get them. They're whispering me now. Gazlo troll band. Oh Jesus.
There was actually there was a video on Reddit where Gazlo, I think it was on Garden of Terror, went into one of the bushes right next to a hard camp because he anticipated the hard camp to be taken soon by the opponent, and he went there and put like I think 5 or 6 towers already in position.
Oh yeah.
And the entire team ran in, and because of how the vision worked, he like juked them once and got his entire comp off and basically single-handedly killed the entire team. I think someone helped him at the end a little bit, but like these wombo combos can be brutal.
Yeah, helped save him at the end. I remember it very, very clearly. It was... I would love to see more like that happen in competitive play, but at the moment it's not quite getting there. I think the most we get to really see is the Void Prism into the Divine Storm and then a few more AoE abilities, but give me a Gazlo anytime, man. That'll be some fun.
I would like to see him, but it's most likely going to be one of the bullshit bans that we are having now. I mean, they could go for anything else. It doesn't really matter what they ban, as long as they agree before that they're not going to take the hero.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I imagine these weird situations where they actually were like, oh, we kind of wanted that hero, actually, after all the bans are said and done. But, oh well. Okay, so we're just waiting now to get into this game. It looks like Kazui is ready to pick and ban. Well, I say and ban, just pick. And then we just need to wait now for Team Acer to ready up as well. So going into game 2, though, I'm kind of favoring Kazui. I think, Kazui have ironed out a few of the problems that they've had in the first couple of weeks. And I think they're looking definitely stronger now than they were previous. You can disagree if you want.
No. I'm just saying, for me, it's just Acer is super bad right now.
Oh.
Because not that they're like a horrible team. I mean, they were one of the best teams in Europe. But right now, they are struggling so much with their lineup. Like every week or every like 10 days, you see a new player for them. If they iron out everything with Veinless and get into a spot where they're comfortable, they can definitely make their way up to the top again. But right now, they have so many lineup changes and so many losses behind them that I think for them, it's really just a matter of a psychological problem and they need to really just start to have one comp that is stable and that they can practice properly with.
All right, well, let's get into it. Oh, Vikings.
The banner lost Vikings. I wanted to see Vikings here.
Oh well, oh well. Have you seen much of them in competitive at all? I really would like to see them once, but
not once.
Oh well, oh well.
I've seen a lot of scrims with Vikings, a lot of scrims,
yeah.
But nobody really pulled them out in competitive.
I'm trying to make it work. Oh well. Well, maybe one day, Kaldor. But for now, that's not going to be the case.
And Team Acer picks Illidan. Kazooie is not going to be too happy about that.
Nope. So they're going to have to go for a little bit more of a different composition here. What map was it? It was Garden of Terror, right? So I'm thinking about this. What are Kazooie going to pick? They have 2 picks. So they have a lot of room here, especially since there was no ban. So it's Valor straight to. Maybe they go Rhaegar to stop. Yeah, okay. So, all right. Well, this makes a lot of sense, making sure that Illidan doesn't get his best friend Rhaegar.
Yeah, so Acer most likely going to play Uther here. Sergeant Hammer is still available. Stitches. This is like new. This is like
never had this before. Whoa.
Never had this before. Like everything is suddenly like on the board. Yeah. So you can go for your dream comp, but it is Stitches and Illidan. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Uther.
Yeah. Uther and Stitches come in. Then who is Kazooie?
Sergeant.
It's Hammer and a Muradin? Maybe?
Nah.
It's 2.
No Muradin if you can choose. Before they go Muradin, they either go Chen or they go into ATC.
No, that's the Chen. And then...
Give Sergeant me.
Yeah, I completely forgot ATC and Chen. What am I on about? Alright, well, Tassadar comes out. This is a very fast draft pick. Because it's just like, well, we had no bans, so I guess we just get to do whatever. Oh, this is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, you can't say that again.
Alright, Team Acer. What do you think they go to here? What do you think is the real pick? I mean, Hammer for them, maybe? Would be cool.
Yeah, like I would... Without picks, like without bans, not seeing Hammer would be...
Pretty crazy. Yeah. We've seen it come in a few times last pick. A few times. Not too much recently. It's going to be Nazeebo. A little bit of extra lockdown as well as that ult, obviously. Having a Spirit doing very, very well. And Team Acer, final. What's it going to be, my friends?
Yeah, like... They could even still go for more DPS with an Hammer. They could also completely turn around and go for a bit more of a tanky lineup there.
Yeah.
I could even see... I don't even know.
You know what I'm already realizing here, Kaldor? It's weird doing this without bans because there's so many factors that come from just one ban alone that it's like, well, it's open game now. So there's so much room, so much room. Damn you for taking our bans away.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice. I didn't even know that that was part of the rules. I thought that if one of the teams really comes in too late, you get a def loss, and that's it. But yeah, I did not know that you could just like lose your ban.
Apparently, it's after 10 minutes you lose a ban, and then after 15 minutes you get a def loss on one map.
After 10 additional minutes, or after?
After the first 10 minutes, and then after 15 minutes. So I guess it's 5.
25 minutes?
I don't know if it's 25. I think it's cumulative, so like 10 and then.
Okay.
2:15.
Makes sense. Yeah, Acer running down the clock right now. I mean, they still could go Sergeant Hammer. They could go, come on, let's YOLO it and throw that Zeratul in there as well.
Yeah, that would be an interesting composition. Oh my god, that would be a terrifying... I don't want to play against that.
I have seen scrims where teams went for Sonya Zeratul Illidan.
Sonya... Oh god.
No tank.
Those some interesting scrims.
Support behind that, dude. Like they were amazing. They were. You cannot believe how much these 3 heroes can wreck your team if you. It's crazy. Yeah. It can be very, very strong.
Jeez, I've watched some interesting scrims actually today.
Tyrande, Milaiki.
Ooh.
Lot of stun lock here. Lot of stun lock and Zeratul.
That's a very strong team from Team Acer.
No tank.
No tank.
Well, such an hammer.
Oh wait, did your Zeratul pop up? Mine didn't. Did they last pick Zeratul?
Just refresh. Yeah, they picked Zeratul.
Okay, well I will refresh for funsies, and we shall wait for a second to confirm that on the stream. But they picked Zeratul.
But yeah, when the maps were included in the draft tool, there's something with the caching going on. I'm not quite sure why there is. Sometimes it happens that the last pick doesn't really show. The time stops, and then you have to refresh.
Hopefully it'll pop. It's taking a little while. So it doesn't matter. The point is Zeratul got picked. We can transfer to us and it'll all be dandy. So that is the final pick there from Who is Kazooie as we get into our map. As Nebsy has given me an invite. Thank you very much to him. Okay, so Garden of Terror. Crazy, crazy lineups. Crazy lineups from both of these. Everything got through. So we have the Illidan in there. We have the Zeratul on the other side of things. We have Stitches in there with Tyrande for their little kind of party that they're going to go for. Also Uther there as oh my god. The lineup from Team Acer for me is beautiful. It's like a piece of art, Kaldor. it's lovely.
There's a lot of synergy in there.
Yeah. A lot of synergy.
You know, I'm thinking with that lineup, they would have been better off with the Zeratul than with the Illidan.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. There's not really that much shield potential there for Illidan, actually, now that I look at it.
I mean, it's not like the Illidan is bad in here or anything.
No.
Illidan is Pash is an amazing hero no matter what you play with him. But looking at that, there is so much combo potential already. And now just imagine that Void Prison there too, like the old school comps that you have. You can use it as a setup for the Nazeebo ult. You can use it after Stitches hook the target. You can use it like together with Nazeebo ult and Starfall. Like there's so much that you could do with a Void Prison. I feel if they would have just like switched out the Zeratul and gone for him, got the same comp, that would have been like death in that would have been like horrible to play against.
No, you're right. You're completely right. That would have been our wombo combo status that we were talking about before this game. Not quite with a Gazlo, but certainly with a lot of other stuff. That would have been brutal, but oh well, that's not going to be the case. They're going to be running with the Illidan here, as we're just telling all these players to ready up and get good to go. BKB is just our final player on Chen, who is just waiting to start things up. And I'm going to say it. You said they haven't won a map yet. This is going to be their map, Kaldor. It's going to be their map. Are you ready?
They have the lineup for it. They certainly do. On the other hand, we have a bit of bubble burst potential with, I guess, a Rain of Vengeance on Vala, most likely. It's going to be an interesting one that they play here. I feel it depends a lot on the Zeratul player of how much they can really do with this. But, well, we're going to jump into the game and find out.
All right, then. Game number 2 is going to be on Garden of Terror. We could see a very, very short night tonight if Kazooie is able to take this one. But Team Acer, who haven't won a map yet here in the Major League, have got a damn good opportunity to take that first map with a very strong lineup that they have. So, will they be able to do it? I hope so. I want to go into a game 3. This night has been too short so far, Kaldor. I want more games. 2 series is not enough, apparently.
Yeah, like we could actually like do with another game. There it goes, and
let's get into
game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, in this series between Acer and Kazooie. We have a 1-0 lead for Team Kazooie now, and since both of the teams were pretty late earlier with one of their players, they were not allowed to ban any heroes in this game, which left us with a very interesting comp. To the left side of the map, we're having Kazooie with BKB on Chen, Nebse on Rhaegar, Blow Your Brain on Vala, Antihero on Zeratul, and Invidium on Tassadar. To the right side of the map, we're currently looking at Green Out on Tyrande, Exxon on Stitches, Veinless on Uther, the newest addition, a former Team Dignitas player. Holo is playing Illidan, and Cypher is playing Nazeebo. The bans in this game were Murky and Lost Vikings, since they had to ban something, because the tool unfortunately only works that way. But yeah, so we have a very cool comp for the second game, especially for Team Acer. We're going to find out if they're able to win their first map in the Major League, or if this is going to be another 0-2 loss against them. I'm Kaldor, with me is Kalaris, and we're going to bring in the coverage here on Garden of Terror.
I certainly hope they're able to take a map. I don't want to see it be a total blowout here in the Major League for them, but they have good potential, so let's see if they're able to do it. Anti-Hero is already lurking in the bushes towards mid, looking to maybe jump on Nazeebo if he goes too far out, but Zypho's going to play this out quietly and safely because, whoa, Nepsy! Oh, don't go too far, my friend. That healing waddle saved you just in the end.
He would have died if not for Green Out missing his Lunar Flare. Green Out missing this just a bit. I think he was even stunned out by Veinless, that's why he wasn't in spot here, so a bit of a miscommunication, but that should have been the first kill, and there it is. Oh, again a little bit too late on Green Out. So that comp is not working 100% just yet. They had 2 opportunities to drop a target, they missed both of them, but you can already see that this is like the early comp of death.
Oh, yeah.
It is so difficult. Oh, and again!
Uh-oh.
And again the miss on the Lunar Flare.
Green out.
Green out is currently 0 for 3.
Yeah, and it's funny because normally when we go into games, especially in the Major League, we've seen Tyrande and Stitches be a thing. We've seen Uther and Stitches be a thing, but never three of them at the same time. So Nebsy once again is in quite a bit of trouble. The hook completely misses, goes the wrong way, Nebsy dukes, and, well, he is out of there.
Yeah, that is, so far it's actually like going really well for Kazui. Like, the danger in the early game with this comp is very significant, and so far they've been able to dodge that. They didn't get killed. We're having now Farsight taken, once again a multi-shot build on Vala. We're seeing Greater Cleave, and then also the additional Gathering Power taken on Zeratul. For, yeah, Acer, Healing Ward of course, on Tyrande, no problem there. A Slam build on Exxon, very surprising, since he is a single tank for the team. Usually that means we're seeing a nice dodge again. Usually that means that we're seeing a sustain build, not in this case. Blow Your Brain dodging that problem with a stun lock again. And yeah, so far so good for Kazui.
I think the definite combination is hook into Veinless Stun into Green Now Arrow, but the arrow just needs to be a little bit quicker, as we were mentioning before. But that will absolutely wreck someone, especially if they get Hunters marked very early in that process as well. So They just need to find some kills somewhere. That's the only problem.
They should have killed already like 3 heroes.
Yeah.
3 hooks together with the Uther stun should have made it possible for them to kill that, but Green Out was missing them just like barely. Now we're having a nice rotation down to the bot, and suddenly it is them being in trouble. And another missed stun by Green Out, but the wall of zombies from side. Oh no, it doesn't save Uther. The multi-shot that comes in on the last second by Blow Your Brain takes down Uther, takes down the healer. Seeds are taken, and that is currently 65 to 55. That means that the top plant is going to decide if one of those two is getting a plant or not.
Exactly. The thing that hurts about that is that was basically taken away from Acer. Now the fact that we can see also, I mean, them taking so many seeds from that and then them being able to rival the top terror is kind of annoying here for Acer, as Antihero is already waiting in the wings. He sees Hollow moving into position, so this might force a reaction here from Kazui.
At the top, we're having Antihero together with Holo. Green Out is jumping in, and there's always Invidium too. And again, that miss.
Oh, so close.
Holo is barely getting away there, but he has the TP too. It's not only that as well is down, he needs to move back to base. We're having BKB pushing Sypho back for now. Still, that battle for that big Garden Terror here.
Yeah, they can continue this on for a while. And as it goes on, it gets easier and easier to kill off the more levels you get, because it is the first Garden Terror. So, the further it goes on, the technically easier it is to take, and then it will die very, very quickly. So they've got to really keep on their toes about keeping eyes on that.
Yeah. We're having also, in this case, Clairvoyance used by Uther. Yeah. In this case, it's about the vision for them. They're having the Git bin on on Nazebo. They didn't need that as well. We have Veinless, Green Out, and Holo now going straight for the seats there. Antihero and Blow Your Brain are rotating over. They were busy with the easy camp, but now they realize that they need to do something there, and they're moving in already. This could be a split in seats, yeah, and there they go, taking a lot of them, but growing already for Acer. So well done by them. Holo is getting low though, and the kill against him, and Veinless might now die too.
Oh, nice pickup on that. Was very, very close to getting out, and he actually grabs, one of the, unfortunately there for Zon, he actually grabbed one of the easy camp minions, so that was a bit unlucky. He could have got a proper kill there, depending on who he got.
Yeah, Nepse, Antihero, BKB, they are moving again. We have at the top lane Green Out in position in the bush, like soaking the experience there. As long as they don't lose a hero just now, they will be able to get something out of that plan, but they are already falling behind in experience, and they are looking at an opponent that is close to getting the level 10, and they're heroic. So with that, defending against the plant that we're seeing from Team Acer should be a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to throw down that plant at the front there just to do a little bit of damage to the towers. To start things off is Hollow. So it's not too bad a start, gets a bit of damage done there, and there's not too much rivaling, just BKB and Nebsy with Antihero in support, but they're doing a lot of damage down at the bottom as well, with only Blow Your Brains trying to hold off against that.
Yeah, Blow Your Brain is there, Antihero is trying to help him out. Himself is getting pretty low at the top lane. We had a hard camp stolen by Kazui, so they were able to push Green Out back towards the fort to defend that. Hook attempt down at the bot lane by Exxon. Doesn't get that in just yet. The plant is still rotating from one lane to another, trying to at least get a few towers down. Is it going to be able to do that? But so far, they haven't really gotten a lot out of it. They kill the wall, but that's it.
It's going to be Future Bile taken by Stitches at the very end there. A little bit, not indecisive, but contemplative about what he really wants to do with that. But Future Bile has seen way more play here than Gorge nowadays. And it does actually help out quite a lot. If your opponent's team gets stuck in a bad position and they are all being hit by it at the same time and being slowed, it causes a lot of disruption in team fights.
Yeah, the change to Gorge in the last patch definitely made a lot of teams reconsider their choice on the heroic ability for him. You very, very rarely see it still, depending a bit on how exactly you want to play it, if you really rely on the Gorge itself. But Putrid Bile has taken over now that it doesn't do a lot of damage anymore. And also another nerf, of course, like a bit of a nerf is of course that increased cooldown on Hook as well.
There could be a potentially bad situation going up here for Acer in this bush.
No,
Four of them appear.
About that.
Oh! That
nice
was
save for Holo.
I feel sad
saved
for them.
himself with the ult, but yeah, that was a very cool attempt by Kazui to drop 2 of them. They got 1 kill. But yeah, not the second.
Perfect read, perfect scouting. And again, actually, it's going to... I think that was almost an intentional pull from one of those siege minions to pull it forwards just so it dies off quicker, so it's not doing as much damage, because they know they can't get to it at the back. So that might have been intentional there from Zon.
They lost the wall still. And yeah, that's one of those hooks that you can definitely go for if you're having a bit of a rough time there. And in this case, now we're having one camp after another taken towards the bottom left. I mean, what's currently important, of course, for Kazooie is that they just like use that map control that they have. That means going for at top Invidium, getting stunned out once, twice, and Vision, Archon, even ult on the Zebo. And with 4 heroes, they're finally able to kill him. So they get a few towers there. But it is really important for Kazooie to use the map control that they had. Losing one of the heroes at the top lane is, of course, a big problem. And now they lost the wall and will also lose the top seeds.
That was a pretty big commitment. I mean, 4 of them up there all that time doing all of that. That's going to allow Kazooie at the same time to push bot. Zon has to get out of there. Putrid Bile, I mean, not only is it a good mechanic actually going into team fights, but it's actually a pretty good escape for...
Oh, it's really, really nice disengage because you can't follow it up. It's actually one of the main reasons why, or like one of the big reasons why teams use that oftentimes. Top plan goes now with all the seeds to Team Acer. Both of the teams have now like enough seeds for one plant. At the bottom we're seeing the plant taken as well. You're right about the commitment, by the way. Taking down Tassadar, they used several ultimates for that, but it was worth it because they're already looking at most of them coming back into play, and they were able to take all of the seeds at the top without being contested. They were able to take the wall, and they should be able to drop that 4 tier now as well. So all in all, a good choice for them.
Yeah, I feel that they had to take this for the commitment to really pay off for itself, because now still Hard Camp and Blow Your Brains are actually just pushing bottom and doing all right about it. But the Garden Terror is there, so the plant will be able to shut that down, and Blow Your Brain has to get out of there.
We're having Feral Lunge taken on 13 to go with Frost Shot, Relentless, Wormhole, and Shrink Ray on the side of Kazooie. On 13, still the damage build on Stitches. So the entire time he goes for the maximum damage that he can dish out, even on level 7 with a Toxic Gas. You can't do more damage than that on Stitches. We're having, of course, Lunar Blaze taken. Oh, Blow Your Brain at the bot lane! Was killed, and that's a very bad time to die. Suddenly, even with the 16 talent that they're going to have any second, they are still 1 hero down when it comes to that battle between the plants.
That was so unnecessary as well. He got greedy. He was actually basing back quite a while ago and then decided to, I think, do a bit of wave clear and then tried to base out again, but they reacted in time to actually get that kill. So a little bit of greed on the side there of Kazooie. Does cost them a kill for a while, and it's probably going to cost them mid-fort here.
They still have the 16 talent, and with all of the heroes on the map, they could have done so much with it, with the double Blood for Blood and also that second Strike Storm that we're seeing, the double bombs. But right now they need to defend. They are the ones that are very passive here, and the keep or the fort goes down. They're being nearly level 16 for Acer as well, and they can't really chase anything. I mean, if they get close enough, they could use their Blood for Blood to chase one of the heroes down, maybe even Exxon, who has the most hit points on his Stitches. But this is an annoying situation, and with 5 heroes back in the game, they are trying to at least get a fort. But of course, the plant dropping now. A bit unfortunate for them, for sure.
Yeah, it was so hard to even chase because the plant times out before theirs, right? And I've actually seen a lot of teams timing out the plants to the very last second. There goes the hook on BKB to try and start this fight. They're going to chase on forwards as well. Metamorphosis is down here for Hollow to try and do some damage at the front.
Yeah, and Cypher's being pushed back right now. He didn't use his ult just yet, or did he? Yes, there it is. Cypher with his ult trying to kill out Invidium, and Nepsa doesn't really get too much. There are healing modes for both teams already in play. Nepsa, the stun, only hitting anti-hero. We're having nice bubble and Exxon. Well, he makes it to the bubble, but he's gonna die.
Yeah, that was a really nice Void Prism. Generally, sometimes they can actually mess up in situations like that, but very well played by him in a tense situation there by Antihero.
4 kills against 2, and it's still a fight for the fort, and they should be able to take that, even though they're low on HP, but apparently they're still scared that that Illidan might turn things around here. The ults are gone, and instead they just rotate and take now the mercenaries on the map. Knight is also falling very soon, but Stitches will be back by then. It's going to be the 5 versus 5.
Slam build with Pulverize now being taken at the level 16. It's really cool. We see a lot of disruption going on in those team fights, and he actually did manage to get a good slam which stunned the entire team during that fight, but it still wasn't enough. So it will come into play later on, of course, when they're all full health and good to go. And as the fight goes along, once you get those big slams down there, because they are big, it might be able to turn things around a little bit.
Yeah, we're having plans attacked now, especially, of course, at the bottom. The seeds are going. We have a huge seed advantage now for Kazui, since they were not able to get the first plant. That usually means that you have quite a few seeds available. In the second one, it was nearly an even split, so now they still have that surplus that you can see there. And we could, ideally for Kazui, see a situation where they win a fight and force Acer in a position where they cannot take a single plant. That would be game changing. And it's those rotations on the map, and if Acer gets the bottom plant, then they will just barely get a Garden Tower.
Yep, it looks like they are going to go for that. We're already seeing here Kazooie take the top one, which is nice. Can't really rival the bottom one either, unfortunately. It's a bit too far away. Just about to die.
It's going to be a 104 for Acer, so they will have exactly a Garden Terror plus 4 additional ones.
Yep. All right, well, they're going to have to retreat out from there. Maybe get easy camp, actually. That won't be too bad. But they're actually pushing towards this bottom 4 instead of going for easy camp because, you know, they see them up at top. So they want to get 4 from 4, definitely.
Plant is now growing. We'll be taking in a second. Plan for Kazooie is already moving to the mid lane, dropping the pot to just like de-push the lane, which they right now did. And we're having BKB together with the rest of them moving straight for that keep now. And there's the plan taken. 4 seats remaining. I was right. Mission accomplished. Achievement unlocked. Doing math on stream. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I stay away from it, man. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm staying away from it. Well, BKB is actually going for the Wandering Kick and pushing them all out of the way. There goes the Ancestral Healing as well.
Oh, but they kind of... The idea was to isolate Uther and kill him. That didn't work. Like, not at all. Also because Antihero is currently on the plant. Oh, Polo is jumping. Oh, nice move by Cypher. There comes the seed. Very well done here by the plan, but that was a great ult that he had a very good position for him. But still, they lose Illidan first because he doesn't have enough support. Baneless is about to die here if the plan gets another shot in. Cypher is dead as well, but they kill Tacita. Baneless saves himself just barely, and now they are aiming for Exxon.
Yeah, he is going to fall. That was a little bit brutal there for Illidan. Normally, I see Illidan's, you know, saving their first aid for after they've gone into Metamorphosis because it goes off, you know, a base amount of health, and it scales really nicely when you're into Metamorphosis, but he used it before Metamorphosis and it was on cooldown, so he even didn't have that to his name, which is a little bit unhappy there for Illidan.
Yeah, just in general, like that fight, how it started was also quite interesting since Uther wasn't even really attacked after he got barreled in, so that didn't really work as intended, but they turned the fight really well and killed then 2-3 heroes in a row, so for them that was crazy good. They have nearly level 20, they weren't able to kill the keep, which is of course for Kazooie a bit disappointing, but still, with them being this close to 20, they have a great position in the game and they are still fighting a 4 versus 3 here. Now there's another 6 seconds, but that's not enough time on that plan to really do anything.
Yeah, quite a big wave pushing down here at the bottom for Kazooie. So then maybe they can strengthen that even more if they get some easy camps, but they've got to be careful at the front here. BKB was spotted, so has to just move on out of there, and they're going to fall back to their own easy camp down at the bottom.
Yeah, Stitch is still going for that slam build. We're having, in terms of talents, well, most of the heroes going for very normal builds that they take here. The Specialized Toxins on 16. We didn't really talk about the 16 talents too much. With the Piercing talent on level 1 for Tyrande, usually go for Ranger, which she did, takes it on 16. The Imposing Presence on Uther, like being taken over the Hardened Focus that we've seen in the last game. And now with the 20s, this is of course where especially Kazui is getting their biggest strength from. Getting the rewind on Zeratul is great, the Twilight Archon is amazing, Bolt of the Storm makes it so much more difficult to drop Bala, especially now that she has both that and also the Blood for Blood. The shield on Rhaegar is just adding to that, and especially BKB is going to be very, very happy about the hardened shield since he's always the one jumping in with a Wandering Keg and getting attacked there. So they have an entire level where they can try to do damage, and they will try to at least take a key for this.
Yeah, there's a good opportunity for them to do quite a bit of damage. They're supporting the easy camp in the middle. They're actually going to, with the night timed out how it is, it makes a lot of sense to actually get back there. But if they take this one quick, and the top one isn't rivaled, there's the potential that they could try and force and take a fight there. But obviously, we see Team Acer recognizing that they have to get those seeds from the top as quickly as possible before it gets rivaled without their level 20 talents.
They should definitely try and rival that. I'm actually surprised that they did not rotate faster because they have a huge advantage right now and Acer can't really fight. So that they give that up. The problem is that even with that, even with all the seeds at the top taken by Acer, Acer will not have a plan. And Kazui realizes that. I still think they should have rivaled it and try to go for a double plan for themselves, but they don't have to take any seats at the top to deny the plan to their opponent. And that's great. So apparently somebody in that team did the math, literally. Yeah. And now they can use one plant, level 20, and the mercenaries that they take at the top before Zeratul jumps into the plant to go and drop keep and maybe even get more depending on how the fight goes.
Yeah, definitely. This could go very, very well here for them. And especially since, you know, a lot of their level 20s aren't benefiting the extra, apart from Twilight Archon, of course, aren't benefiting their original 10 talent. Just anything that's in the Garden Terror isn't as badly as wasted, you know, because, you know, obviously those level 20 talents can be a big, big game changer, but the Garden Terror is so, so powerful in these situations when you're just having to defend up against it without your level 20 talents as well.
Well, and here comes that push against that keep that is always already halfway down in HP. Still waiting for those two Siege Giants to join the fun. The hook not hitting anything by Exxon. They still don't have that 20. Still waiting for it. The pots are being dropped now, of course. And we're seeing immediately the attack towards the keep. And also that tower is very low. Keep is gone, and they want more than keep. That's guaranteed. Whoa, they actually moved back.
They might try and go for other keeps.
I guess they will.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's a huge chunk of experience. They know that their opponent's about to hit level 20, so they don't want to stick around there for too long at the front.
They nearly lost the game against SK because they were a bit too greedy, so I guess they want to try and play it safe here.
Nexus
which
Blades
also makes sense. I mean, they're going to get that. Nexus Blades and Illidan.
Yeah, so this will be interesting. No Demonic Fawn, he's going to jump in, so let's see how much he can do. He could actually blow your brain, but there goes the Divine Storm as well, as Fainless has been able to get into a position. Didn't hit everyone, though.
Yeah, and Nazebo, like, Nazebo gets stunned out by the plant here. That seed, that polymorph seed is so good. Invido moves in. Exxon is really, really low, but he gets away and gets healed. That keep dies. Everybody's still alive on the side of Kazui. Acer is in full retreat now, trying to scoop up again behind that healing wall that they have. And now with the keep gone, Kazui can just simply move back. They push 2 lanes in completely with the help of that plant. But still, they're now very low in seats, of course. 26 against 94 because of that. They're taking the camps away from their opponent, but it looks like we're having Acer looking for a fight now.
They could force a fight here. They're pinned up against the wall, so it's going to be do or die here, as they will jump in onto Nebsy straight away, try and do something to them. There goes the Divine Hurricane onto a top of 3 of them, but Nebsy's still not dead, and they take down Uther.
Yeah, that hardened shield really working well for them, and they take down Illidan now too. Oh, but Vala is nearly dead. Look at Anti-Hero and Vala, both of them blood just jumping away, but Illidan dies Zeratul dies regardless, and Tassadar is dead as well. It's a 3-for-3 in this case. BKB still running. Cypher is trying to jump in there. BKB should be able to escape from the situation. Nice dodge, but then he jumps into that. Can of course easily jump the wall of zombies and gets away.
Really sick juke on the hook there. Very, very nicely done by BKB. But still difficult to kill him anyway.
We have 14 seconds for the next night, and look at those catapults pushing in. They need to defend, and they have the heroes back. So with the night now already approaching, that means that most of the heroes will not be in the game. So it's up to the 2 heroes surviving for the teams to make something work here.
You're right. Well, at least Stitches took a slam build, so he can clear things up a little bit more whilst it's only the 2 of them alive. That kind of benefits him here, unbelievably. And We're now having Blow Your Brain out as well as BKB taking these bottom camps. And likewise, we're going to see them actually go straight for the Garden Terror. This could give them the potential, if they were able to do damage to that, to then eventually challenge the bottom one. But Chen and Thingy, Blow Your Brain, are always challenging that one anyway.
Yeah, the Blow Your Brain and BKB, they need the seeds now, because if they do not get the entire plant, then they will not be able to get a Garden Terror on their own. And that's why we're really having all of them just like rushing towards that. But of course, that's also something that Acer knows, which is why Acer is trying to fight now. They have a plant already moving over, but you can really see it takes a bit more than that. They need to drop the plant and they can't. They need to rotate someone to the top, but even if they take the easy camp, 5 seats would still be missing.
Oh, Hollow actually walks into a world of hurt, though. Takes a bit of damage, gonna have to Metamorphosis out of that position. And there is the Void Prism to try and slow any of this down. Can they get someone else, though? Don't think so.
I like the Void Prism. I don't like that they stick around. They should try to disengage and get the seats at the top, or they could have done that. Now they are suddenly completely split with heroes to the left, heroes to the right. Barrel being used to save BKB's ass. He's moving in again. Oh, Holo dies. That's a bad time to lose your Illidan.
Yeah, it's a big, big deal. But Nepsi actually gets saved by the Ancient Spirit. Here comes the Annihilating Spirit, though, to try and pick him up. He does end up dying, but likewise, so does Nazebo.
Yeah, and Invidium now currently in position. Anti-Hero is there as well. Exxon is going down. Anti-Hero escapes for now. Greenout is trying to chase them. The Healing Ward is there. It's a 4 versus 2, and they are still aiming for Veinless. If they get him as well, if Anti-Hero is able to hit those Singularity Spikes against him, which he just did, then he's most likely going to die. Invidium with another Storm, 1 Storm, 2 Storm, and goodbye Uther. And suddenly they have a chance of taking this game by just getting a few more seeds.
Yeah, they can retreat back if they want to, but it looks like they're just going to stick around and press the issue. Anti-Hero has to be very careful.
They can't. That would be a horrible idea.
I was going to say...
Like, they're all so low in hit points and in mana, and Illidan is going to come back in another, like, 14 seconds at that time. If they would have tried to go for core, they would have all died and then probably lost the game, since the seeds would allow Acer to go for a second plant. But as is, they are making the right move. They go out, taking the seeds right now, and then they can start it with a 23-minute plant. That's going to do work. And
the 23-minute plant comes at a time where they're about to take it as Greenout's time's down. So they don't even have a plant for defense here to Acer, which is going to cause a lot of problems, definitely. They can take some camps here before they even take the Terror, or at least start them up and get things going.
This, by rights, should end the game. This, by rights, should finish the game in favor of Kazui. If Acer makes this defense happen, that would be amazing. If they get maybe an early pick, that would be great for them. An early kill against one of the heroes, fighting a 4 versus 5. A surprise to me is that Anti-Hero moves to the bot lane, so apparently they're not immediately trying to go for a finish. They look to kill the keep first, which is, I guess, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think in this position, it would be also a big possibility to go straight to the middle and say, all right, we're going to take it.
Zon. Oh, the Wandering Keg dropped him way out of position, but here comes the Metamorphosis from Acer Hollow to try and get into a good position. But there's so much sustain for them. They're under 2 healing wards.
Yeah, and Greenout is about to die, and that is going to be game with Veinless and Exxon dying now as well. Down goes Stitches. Illidan alone is not going to be able to do that. Nope, Illidan, you're good this patch, but you are not that good. 5 heroes are a bit too much to handle on your own, and with 3 players just down, they can completely ignore the keep, which they do. Anti-Hero sprints in towards the core.
Yeah, very well played there. Kazooie is going to be able to take this 2-0. And unfortunately here for Acer, their losing streak in the Major League continues. They're now 0-8 in maps lost.
0-8 maps lost all 4 best-of-3s that they played. It is Kazooie with a 2-0 that wins the game here and there for the day. Congratulations to them after defeating SK the last play day. They take down Team Acer today with a 2-0 in the ESL Major League.
Tough stuff there. Tough stuff, unfortunately. And that was one of the prime opportunities for Acer to even just get a map alone here in the Major League. Look at the lineup that they had and the situation that led to that. But in the end, you know, Kazooie, I still think, you know, as much as unfortunately Acer are looking a little bit shaky, Kazooie are looking better nowadays.
Oh yeah, they are. No doubt about that. They are a solid team. I wouldn't consider them top 4 in Europe yet, but they are a team that has potential. They are a team that is definitely on the rise. And they have shown several times now already in the ESL Major League that big opponents have to be careful of them. So they've played great games here. But Acer, I feel sorry for them, and at the same time, I'm a bit worried about them. They need a few wins, and even if it's just to get their confidence up again, because in this, I mean, look at the early game that we've seen with Citrus, Tyrande, and Uther not getting a single kill. With the
True.
hooks that they
Oh,
had,
true. Yeah.
that shouldn't happen. And if in the early game already everything just goes south and you don't even get those easy kills in that we saw there, then I'm not really surprised if in the late game things don't work together for you as well, because there must be, in my opinion, by now this is a psychological problem. If they have time to practice with Rainless now, I hope that they are going to be like playing with him from now on and have a stable lineup. And if they can make that work, then I hope that they will be back to where they were before.
Yeah, I hope so too. There was a lot of potential there. Unfortunately, it fell by the wayside. But that does it for today's broadcast, guys, as we had, obviously, Kazooie winning that series and El Nexo actually falling in the previous series to Well Met. So that wraps up our past 2 series of games. Any last words, Kaldor, before we head off?
No, not really. We're very surprised by El Nexo losing it today. Congratulations again to Will Matt, who played a brilliant game there. Very well done. And yeah, the season is shaping up quite nicely. I'm looking forward to our next play day.
Yeah, so am I. So am I. We're going to have 2 more days. Tomorrow, Tuesday, 2 more days, next week even. Tuesday and Thursday, not tomorrow. That would be weird. So join us then on Tuesday for more ESL Major League.